Tarbox, Marianne Wright, Bill Evans with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast, and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
Good afternoon, I'm Edie Tarbox.
And I'm Marianne Wright. Welcome to Eyewitness News at noon. The tri-state area is digging out after a blast of snow that fell through the night. But those cleaning up better bundle up with temperatures today only reaching the 20s. Manhattan got dumped with as much as 4 inches of snow, making it tough to get around the city. Sanders have been on the streets since the first flakes fell. On Long Island, the plows are also worked all night long to clear away as much as 6 inches of snow. Icy conditions are making driving treacherous. The snow shovels are out all along the sidewalks and streets of New Jersey, and that is where J.D. Dapper is live. He is in Bayonne to tell us how the cleanup is going. J.D.?
Well, Marianne, this snowstorm couldn't have come at a better time for kids. After all, in the middle of a kind of boring holiday week, presto, something to do outside. But what is fun for the kids can be a lot of work for adults. The sounds of snow shovels on the morning after echoed across every town and borough in New Jersey as people awoke to find the world outside a sea of frigid white. In Jersey City, 4 inches of snow fell, leaving sidewalks and cars covered.
I've been shoveling all morning, shoveling my house, shoveling this house, non-stop.
Had enough of snow already, huh?
From last night.
While most roads are wet, blowing snow has cut visibility at times and made keeping the streets clear a challenge. Still, in Jersey City, crews have largely managed to finish the job.
We had all the equipment set. We set it up the night before. Spreaders were loaded. We deployed about 30 units, and they ran all through the afternoon into the evening. And I'd say by about 3:30 this morning, we had all the mains and secondary roads covered.
Now, one of the biggest problems, of course, has been the blowing snow. Not only has it made it difficult to keep the roads clear over and over, it has also made some visibility problems in driving. It's also cutting right through, cuts right to the bone. If you're going to be out today, wear your long underwear. David Usher is in Manhattan at Battery Park City. He's been covering the story on that side of the river. I imagine it's pretty cold there as well, David.
It is indeed, Jay, and indeed in a city that has more than its share of cars. You're right, the timing of the storm was a blessing. There were fewer commuters on the road, but for those who did have to drive this morning, they likely found the morning commute a headache. In Brooklyn, this car couldn't quite make it up a snowy, slippery driveway and ended up sliding back into a garage for a weather fender bender. Other drivers had to devote a lot of time to brushing and scraping. Some drivers like Shawnee Scott couldn't even rescue their car.
I can't. My car is just stuck. It's stuck. It's ice all around. So I have to take the public transportation today.
And how'd that go?
Rough.
Still, the city's Department of Sanitation thinks it got the early drop on the storm and mobilized efficiently starting early yesterday afternoon.
Get downstairs, give me a call on the radio. Yeah, I'll give it back to you.
From the 24-hour control center in Lower Manhattan, they tracked their 350 salt spreaders and 650 plows.
I think we really accomplished a lot overnight. It was very cold, which of course is always a problem for us because the salt doesn't work as effectively with the low temperatures. But we have virtually all of the major highways are open and we think working well.
Of course, if you're young, then things like wind chill factor, driving conditions, and shoveling don't register too well. What could be bad about some snow?
I like snow.
Why?
It's cool.
Funny how when you get a little older, snow loses some of that snow-white innocence.
I just came from Australia in the middle of summer, so it's freezing cold here. Not used to it, no.
Now the snow is gone, but the icy wind is relentless. There will likely be problems with drifts, as J.D. mentioned, and there are also the pockets of ice, which will make the evening commute a bit hazardous as well. For now, we are live in Battery Park City. I'm David Usher, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Well, David mentioned the possibility of ice, and the blast of snow that hit Long Island has blanketed the area with a layer of white, and underneath that, we do have that ice. Plows and sanders hit the highways, and most of the main roads are reportedly clear now, but many of the side roads are still clogged with last night's accumulation. Officials say light traffic because of the holiday week has made the morning commute relatively easy. Well, to see just how much snow we got in the tri-state area, let's check in with Veronica Johnson with the AccuWeather details. Veronica?
Thanks a lot, Edie. Well, of course, behind the storm system of yesterday, if you've been outside, you know it is indeed cold. 24 in LaGuardia, also 24 in the park. 22 toward Bridgeport, but our winds now sustain at about 30 miles per hour. And with below normal temperatures, factor in these strong winds, that's putting our wind chill temperatures to as much as 10 to 15 below zero. Well, it's not only the cold temperatures that have come in behind the storm system. Of course, we have the snow that's on the ground to deal with. The park picked up 3.3 in New Brunswick, some higher amounts out toward LaGuardia and JFK, 5 and 4 inches respectively, and 4 inches toward Islip. We'll take a look at a slight warming trend that may be our way for tomorrow. Edie?
Thank you very much.
To see how all the snow is affecting the roads right now, let's go to Ed Arnold, standing by live at the Metro Traffic Control. Ed?
And Marianne, as David mentioned earlier, we did get lucky. It is a light week as far as commuting goes. Still, we have our problems. Southbound on the New England Thruway around Country Club Road, 3 separate accidents, up to a dozen vehicles involved in this series. Northbound on the FDR as you're traveling between 125th Street and the Willis Avenue Bridge, there's still snow off to one of the lanes of the roadway. Be careful as you're driving. Inbound Gowanus, a number of accidents, all being reported around 38th Street. Lots of rubbernecking in both directions. And a reminder, in North Bergen, Tunnelly Avenue shut down both ways between 46th and 69th Streets. That's because of yesterday's water main break. Alternate side rules are suspended today. Sunday rules in effect for tomorrow. And the LIRR, Metro North, and New Jersey Transit all have extra service to get you home this afternoon. Be careful, though. For Eyewitness News, I'm Ed Arnold.
Thank you, Ed. Police have arrested a suspect in a hit-and-run that left a 9-year-old boy critically injured earlier this month. Police arrested Orlando Miller of Queens Village and seized his van shortly after midnight. They say Miller rammed into a 9-year-old boy on Linden Boulevard December 19th. Doctors at Mary Immaculate Hospital say the boy's condition has stabilized despite serious head injuries. And published reports indicate new evidence has surfaced about the Crown Heights riots 2 years ago that could result in civil rights charges against some of those involved in the killing of Yankel Rosenbaum. U.S. Attorney General Janet Reno's office is refusing to confirm or deny the report.
2 suspects are being held today without bail, charged in a series of deadly mail bombings that killed 5 people in upstate New York. Investigators believe a dispute between one suspect, Michael Stevens, and the blast victims led to the 4 separate bombings in upstate New York. Targeted were members of his girlfriend's family, Brenda Lazor. Stevens and the other suspect, Earl Quigley, have been charged with carrying explosives across state lines.
One of the defendants, Earl Quigley, purchased 55 pounds worth of explosives in Kentucky, transported them to the Rochester area. They were then made into bombs.
Among those killed in the bombings were Lazor's mother, stepfather, and sister. Police say her boyfriend may have been motivated by feelings that Lazor's family was turning her against him.
A bombshell in the world of diplomacy.
Up next on Eyewitness News, with the stroke of a pen, the Vatican and Israel change a relationship that for years has been somewhat hostile.
Plus, there was a lot of concern about twins joined at birth who underwent a delicate separation surgery. Well, we'll show you how they're doing now. It's next on Eyewitness News.
Every kid should have big, baggy, stupid clothing.
I love this hat. I just truly hated it.
My mom would love to cut my hair off.
I've come home and her hair's been green.
People might consider me a freak, but I like that. It doesn't bother me at all. The scarier, the better.
Some of the outfits I thought were pretty outlandish.
My clothes, I don't like it if they match.
Moms get revenge when they make over their teens on the next Oprah. Today at 4, followed by Eyewitness News right here on Channel 7.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer. There's still time to refinance your home at the money store, even if you have less than perfect credit. Over the last year, thousands of homeowners across America have refinanced their mortgages with the money store. You can apply by phone anytime at the money store, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there's never an application fee. So to refinance your mortgage, even if your credit is less than perfect, call the money store at 1-800-LOAN-YES. The money store, where America goes for money.
One moment I'm a network anchor, and the next, well, look at me. I'm Kathleen Sullivan, and I've been investigating the best way to do something about it. And I keep hearing about this revolutionary new plan at Weight Watchers. It's called Superstart. And this is what people are saying.
I lost 5 pounds in just 2 weeks.
I lost 8.6 pounds in 2 weeks.
I lost 4.1 pounds. Superstart was very easy, and I loved the recipes.
It's great.
It works. It really works.
Well, there's only one thing left to do. I'm going to give it 2 weeks, and I'm going to do it here on television. So here we are, ready to sign up for Superstart, and I really want to lose 6 pounds in the next 2 weeks, but I don't want to do it alone. Why don't you come join me? Let's do it together. And look, if you start now, you can join for only $12. And that's quite a bargain when you're in a hurry to start losing weight. So call now. Don't make me do this alone. We're all in this together. And I'll see you in a couple days.
1993 has been a landmark year in Israel's history, and today, an historic agreement opening diplomatic ties with the Vatican. Israel's Deputy Foreign Minister and the Vatican Undersecretary of Foreign Relations signed the pact. The signing of the accord sets the stage for ending centuries of bloodshed and bitterness between Jews and Roman Catholics. ABC correspondent Dean Reynolds has our story.
The Vatican approved the historic agreement without getting any concessions from Israel on such highly contested topics as the future of Jerusalem. For years, the Holy See has held that Jerusalem should be an international city, but the agreement to be signed today does not mention the status of Israel's capital. Both sides agree on the need to fight anti-Semitism and to promote human rights, to respect each other's properties around the world, and to promote cultural exchanges. Israelis have sought ties with the Vatican for years, and the lack of relations had been a sore point for Jews and many Catholics.
The church is beginning slowly, maybe, to recognize that God's will may be expressed in pluralistic forms, and that the living dignity of Judaism is not a threat to Christianity, but may be an important enrichment of their own experience.
The ongoing dispute between the Israelis and the Palestinians has not helped communication between Rome and Jerusalem. Indeed, a number of Palestinian Catholics wonder why the Pope would recognize Israel before Israel recognizes a Palestinian state.
We are not too happy about the signature of the agreement between the Holy See and the so-called Jewish state.
The agreement, which was approved yesterday at the Vatican after a year and a half of negotiations, is an attempt to overcome that kind of attitude, as well as centuries of mistrust and animosity. And after both sides exchange ambassadors next spring, John Paul II is expected to come for a visit, the first papal trip to the Holy Land in 30 years. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
A woman in Chicago who fought all the way to the Supreme Court orders to have a cesarean section has given birth to an apparently healthy baby boy. Doctors were concerned the baby might not survive a natural birth. Hospital officials say it is still too early to tell if the baby escaped injury. The 20-year-old woman is a Christian fundamentalist, and she refused to have a C-section on religious grounds. Michigan twins born joined at the stomach have been separated successfully. Andrew and Joseph Sonneville were born in October. Their parents turned to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, which determined that the only vital organ the children shared was a liver, making them candidates for successful separation. 2 weeks ago, the operation took place with a nurse updating the boys' anxious parents every half hour.
Exactly what they were doing. She told us when they were cutting the skin and then what organs they were passing by, and then when they got to the liver, what they had to separate. And then towards the end, they removed the expanders and then they sewed them up.
Well, the boys have just returned home, and as you can see, they're doing well. Christine says Andrew, the boy that she's holding, is the active verbal one, and Joseph is a bit quieter. But having the boys healthy and at home, they say, is a wonderful way to start the new year. Well, our AccuWeather forecast is available right now.
Up next, as we're dealing with all the snow, there is now another weather change that you need to know about. Veronica Johnson will have details next.
But first, we'll tell you about the latest desperate efforts to save those dolphins stuck in a New Jersey river.
I stand here before you as the elected leader of the greatest city of
David Dinkins.
He was a decent man who did his best, but it wasn't quite good enough.
Days of triumph.
He balanced the budget. He went in tackling the crime problem.
He was very, very good for business. Days of despair.
Justice we will have. Peace I beg you for.
What hurt Dave most was his decency.
Senior correspondent John Johnson on the Dinkins legacy. Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6, right here on Channel 7.
One moment I'm a network anchor, and the next, well, look at me. I'm Kathleen Sullivan, and I've been investigating the best way to do something about it. And I keep hearing about this revolutionary new plan at Weight Watchers. It's called Superstart. And this is what people are saying.
I lost 5 pounds in just 2 weeks.
I lost 8.6 pounds in 2 weeks.
I lost 4.1 pounds. Superstart was very easy. And I loved the recipes. It's great. It works. It really works.
Well, there's only one thing left to do. I'm going to give it 2 weeks, and I'm going to do it here on television. So here we are, ready to sign up for Superstart. And I really want to lose 6 pounds in the next 2 weeks, but I don't want to do it alone. Why don't you come join me? Let's do it together. And look, if you start now, you can join for only $12. And that's quite a bargain when you're in a hurry to start losing weight. So call now. Don't make me do this alone. We're all in this together. And I'll see you in a couple days.
Dial-A-Mattress, fast and convenient.
It was very quick, easy. You know, I put it on my charge card, so they just took my card from me, did all the transactions in my kitchen, and they were gone. So it was very, very easy.
Get low warehouse prices on Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, and Simmons Beauty Rest. 1-800-Mattress. Fast, easy, and a commitment to customer satisfaction nationwide 24 hours a day. 1-800-MATTRES.
Leave off the last cents for savings. The price was about half.
Mario Perillo for Club Perillo Bahamas at Carnival's Crystal Palace Resort and Casino. A tropical Shangri-La brimming with activities and exquisite dining. Deluxe, yet friendly and affordable. And Elder, your personal Club Perillo host, will be on the spot to serve you. Promise me you won't book any island vacation until you compare Perillo's price. But you must get my brochure. For a free Perillo Crystal Palace brochure, see your travel agent or call 1-800-854-4000 now.
Rescue workers today have lost sight of 3 dolphins trapped in the ice-clogged Shrewsbury River in Seabright. They've been trying to shepherd the dolphins through the ice for 3 days, but without success. A 4th dolphin appears to have died yesterday. Rescue workers now fear the worst for the other dolphins because they say that the dolphins had lost body weight and that they panicked when rescuers tried to get close to them.
Hope they're okay. Well, you weren't lying when you said it was going to snow. And then we're going to get more?
Oh, no, we're not going to get any more. Just very cold, and of course it's very windy out there. And when you factor in the cold temperatures already about 10 degrees below normal with some very strong winds already sustained at about 30, it brings our wind chill temperatures down to 15 below zero. That's already being reported at some areas. Our live shot comes to you now out of Melville, Long Island there. You can see it's bright and sunny, but so what? It feels cold outside. Let's take a look at the current conditions now. 24, that's the temperature. Humidity, 36%. The barometer is on the rise. That's why we have these sunny conditions, and our winds are blowing out of the northwest. Now, it's 6 miles per hour in Midtown. Some of the buildings keeping the winds down just a bit. So the temperature in Midtown, well, the wind chill temperature only feels like 18 degrees, but at Newark, the wind chill temperature is much, much colder. We'll move on to the maps now and take a look at the satellite, the national satellite. It shows the clouds, a bit of them still over the northeast, but most of these are starting to break up. We've got some clouds down across the southeast, but we'll focus our attention now from Minnesota down to Missouri. Here's the next storm system that will move through, bringing us a few showers on New Year's Eve. And we'll have another system in the Pacific Northwest. When it moves through, it could give us some snow by Monday night. But first of all, we'll take a look at what's on the ground now at Central Park. 4 inches of snow was reported. Some heavier amounts out toward LaGuardia, 5 inches. JFK, 4 inches in Islip. What happened is the storm system came in. We had an easterly flow a little earlier than anticipated, so the snow started a little earlier. As that storm system intensified, it moved from the southwest on up toward the northeast. 3 in New Haven, 4 inches in White Plains. Newark also 3 inches of snow. But right now, it is the temperatures that we have to deal with, mainly in the low 20s. You can add about 3 more degrees to this to see what our high temperature will be for today, but factor in the winds. They're already blowing, sustained at 30 miles per hour. Some gusts have been reported as high as 43 in Newark. The temperature there, the wind chill feels like 13 below zero, 10 below at LaGuardia, 8 below up toward White Plains, 7 in Bridgeport, some lighter or lesser winds there. A bright but bitter blow today. Keep your eye on this high pressure system. Notice it moves toward the east, so we'll have a very strong southwest flow tomorrow. That'll bump our temperatures up a bit to about 32 degrees. And here we go for tomorrow on the national scene. This system sweeps through, yet another one blowing off to the northeast, but mainly rain for us by around Saturday, maybe into early morning Sunday. Temperatures will be warm enough, but after that they cool off again, so it will be mainly in the form of snow. AccuWeather forecast for the day calls for some basically sunny conditions early on, but some very, very strong winds, 26 for a high temperature with wind chills as low as 15 below zero. That's what it will feel like on your skin. 18 tonight, few clouds come in. It will still be very cold, but the winds will be diminishing. Tomorrow looks like 32, maybe a few clouds sweep into our area. And over the next 5 days, look at this. 40 degrees for a high temperature on Saturday, 37 on Sunday. We cool back off after that frontal system, and anything we get then is back to snow.
All right, 40 degrees.